95.7 The Game breaking news.
I mean, is there any better way to start off what will be the final 9 to noon edition of Willard and Dibs as we get ready to move to 2 to 6 in the afternoon on Monday than to say this? We got breaking news out of Arizona, United States of America. Brock Purdy has undergone successful repair of the UCL
Brock.
surgery. Therefore, it is not a reconstruction. It is not Tommy John. The surgery is done, and the timeline is set. He is expected to throw in 3 months. He is expected to practice in 6. Therefore, week 1 remains on the table at a minimum. That's the 49er quarterback situation as of today.
That's exciting. Breaking news. And that means the surgery, it's 10:30 now. That means he probably got in there early.
Yeah, he did one of those, show up at 5:45 in the morning, get a gown.
Yeah.
Have somebody there with you.
No doubt.
Right?
Make
Wheel
sure you
them
had a
in.
ride home. Yeah. Probably had to arrive at about 6:45
Get those
for the pre-op.
slippers on. Yeah, right? When the parking lot is empty and nobody else is even there. So
Yeah. Under the knife by 8. And, it's probably a pretty garden variety quick surgery
Probably.
if you're going to just repair it. So good for you, Brock. Congratulations, and get better soon.
That's right. And please sign these forms for the anesthesia and drive home safely. Please do not drive yourself. We would like you to protect that arm. But we got some Warrior stuff to get to. And as we've mentioned, and we know many of you know, some changes around here at 95.7 The Game. And so we will be moving to 2 to 6 in the afternoon on Monday, which means this will be the last time that you hear us from 9 to noon. Really going to miss Bonte and Joe in that changeover for sure. And any of those of you out there who, your day works this sort of way where, between 9 and noon or in the mornings is maybe the only time you listen. Like, first of all, we'd really like to sit down and talk to you and figure out how we can get earbuds in you so that you're listening to 95.7 The Game from beginning to end. Odyssey app if you want to go to a Warrior game. But outside of that, if this is, the way that you move and 2 to 6, you're off doing other things or what have you, would really love to hear from you today and say thank you. Just say thank you to our 9 to noon audience for everything that has happened over the last year and a half. It's been fantastic. We cannot appreciate it more. And as we said, we invite you to join us in the afternoons next week.
We look forward to 2 to 6, and you had me thinking about some of our dear friends like Brian in Palo Alto, who has been such a great caller. I don't know what his afternoon plans are. Jonathan, we know, is a mail carrier, and we're here and he's
by then,
there.
right?
Maybe, of course.
Better, Dib.
Robin, you hear from time to time, but we're going to take calls in the afternoon,
Sure.
so we look forward to many of our favorites joining us then as well.
Like, what if you're an elbow surgeon, for example?
Yeah.
I bet by the time you're 2 to 6 in the afternoon, you're somewhere with a snifter. The day's over.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing surgery. Have you ever had surgery when they're like, we've got you set for 4:30 in the afternoon on
All
a
my
Wednesday?
surgeries have been in the morning.
First thing in the morning.
Most of them, yeah.
Get your butt in there before the sun, get a gown.
Yeah.
And get your anesthesia, and we'll meet you over there
Speaking
in that
of
back room.
surgeons, I can happily report that our surgeons will be coming with us. Dr. Brian Feely, Dr. Narav Pandya, cleared to play, will follow us, Willard and Dibs, to the afternoon.
Beautiful.
At a time and day to be determined.
Yep, absolutely. So 888-957-9570 is the number. We'd love to take your calls. And again, we're definitely going to dive into the Warriors, Jordan Poole, Draymond Green, Dylan Brooks, and the rest in what was just a putrid road trip. There is no way to spin that. But because of the breaking news, let's spend a couple of minutes on this. I wonder how y'all think this news affects free agency, which opens next week. If you are the 49ers, now that we know that Brock Purdy was a UCL repair and not a reconstruction, how does that affect the way you would approach the quarterback room in free agency? For me, there's a couple of quick answers. Yes, you still need someone. I do want someone who's accomplished. I want somebody who knows the system or whatever, someone that Kyle Shanahan feels can really fit, but I do not want a big name. That's actually the number one thing I'd say. And I know that sounds weird, but there's still going to be some of you who want them to call Tom Brady. There are others who are going to think that this Baker Mayfield idea is good. I would like that 49er QB3 to be someone that the collected media, the Matts, the Barrows, the Mayokos, the Jennifer Lee Chans, and the rest, I would like them to not be champing at the bit to go interview QB3. So no Brady, no Mayfield.
No.
Give me names that sound like Sudfeld. As far as this situation, I would like the quarterback room to be led by Brock Purdy and Trey Lance for at least the next 2 to 3 years.
And Chase Daniel. Give me Chase Daniel.
That's fine. Yes.
Just give me Chase Daniel immediately, a guy who has played for 8 different teams. I guess if you count the Redskins, the former Redskins, now the Commanders, when he played on the practice squad in 2009, that would be 8 teams. Chase Daniel is a professional clipboard holder. He's been a guy who can come in and be stopgap, and he's also a guy who could be the next Brian Greasy in waiting, somebody who could go into your quarterback room
That's interesting.
as the quarterback coach. If I'm Kyle Shanahan, I'm looking for that kind of guy. I'm looking for somebody to be the next member of the organization going forward, a guy who can be a quarterback if you need him, and God forbid you actually need a third quarterback again, which last year you needed 4. So I'm not saying that you won't need 3 this year. You probably will need 2, and you've got 2. And if Chase Daniel's your 3, you feel good about him coming in, probably better than you felt about Josh Johnson coming in.
And my hopes for this are A, that Brock Purdy is ready to go by week 1, but that if he's not, at a minimum, my gosh, with all of the investment that they have put into Trey Lance, I would hope that the organization feels good about putting him out there if all you're asking for is 2, 3, 4 weeks. Like, right? This is still Trey Lance. This is still the number 3 pick in the draft. By the way, we've done some digging this week on that whole S2 cognition thing that we've been talking about and how it's a new data point, something that measures the things that you would not be able to measure in the past. We can look at your height, your weight, your leaping ability, your speed, how far can you throw the ball,
your bench press,
your accuracy. We can do all that. What we've not been able to know in the past is how do you process information? How do you view the field? How do you move through all of the progressions? And that's what this does. And we do know that, for instance, Mahomes and Burrow and Allen scored off the charts, and so did Purdy. And maybe because he came out of the 7th round and has played so well, this is going to change the way people look at it. Like they're going to up that data point. There's also this, we haven't talked a lot about it this week. Trey Lance scored really, really well also.
Exactly.
Not quite Purdy, but really, really well. So I'm not done with Trey Lance by any stretch. I'm out on any trade talk. I want that guy to at minimum be QB2 this year. And if they need someone for the first month of the season, that's your guy.
And he's QB1 right now.
Yeah.
It's March 10th, and Brock Purdy right now is probably in recovery, still coming to after the anesthesia. And it's going to be, as Doc Pandia told us earlier and Cleared to Play, I think it was yesterday, we had a special Thursday edition. He talked about the immediate days following the surgery. He's going to be in an elbow brace that restricts his movement for the most part, and Brock Purdy's going to have to slowly work his elbow back from a flexibility standpoint between now and June when he's able to throw again. So from now to June 10th, 3 months from now, when Brock Purdy is actually able to start maybe grabbing a football and throwing it again, Trey Lance is QB1.
Yep.
So between now and then, Trey Lance has a great opportunity to continue to grow and show the organization that he's ready to be QB1 if Brock Purdy's not ready for September.
Yeah, so that's the situation there, and how that affects what the 49ers do. It's going to be real interesting, right from the jump next week when free agency starts, with all the quarterback stories that are out there, from Lamar Jackson to Aaron Rodgers and more, even Jimmy Garoppolo. Mike McGlinchey said the other day he expects free agency to be over fast for him. Like, he's expecting to be one of those guys that's like within the first hour. Like NBA does this the best, where it's like midnight, the free agency period opens, and like a minute later, it's like, this guy's got a 5-year, $112 million deal. And it's like, you weren't allowed to talk to him until midnight, and you signed him at 12:02. So they're talking now.
And you
obviously.
saw the Colton McKivitz news,
Yes,
right? They
yes.
signed McKivitz to a 2-year extension, so McKivitz will be the right tackle. You don't sign McKivitz to an extension if you're going to have him still be on the bench. So that basically signals to everyone that Mike McGlinchey will be going elsewhere.
Oh, but yes, he's going elsewhere, but they're going to bolster the offensive tackle group for sure.
Maybe in the draft.
Yeah, there's a bunch of ways to do it, but I think this is going to be an incredible week. So don't miss a minute as our new lineup starts and we jump right into NFL free agency next week.